Get ready to explore a book that goes beyond the ordinary story, the Bible. This is not just a tale of the past, but an intriguing glimpse into the future of our world. Today, I will show you why this mysterious text defies logic and captivates generations. In a few minutes, you'll begin to see the Bible in a way you never imagined. Ready to uncover secrets that could transform your worldview? Stay with me. The revelation starts now. Just imagine, we are the only people who have an idea of how all this will end. That's kind of extraordinary, isn't it? The great architect of the universe didn't reveal the mysteries of tomorrow just to satisfy the curiosity of his followers. He did it with a greater purpose, to prepare us for the events that are to come. He wanted us to be ready, not to be frightened when the decisive moment arrived, and to interpret the signs correctly. Let's admit it. It's a gift to have this knowledge about the future that awaits us. Speaking of which, have you ever heard someone wonder if we are living in the end times? The truth is, the Bible mentions the last days, and believe it or not, we've been navigating these seas for 2 millennia now. These days began at Pentecost, a crucial moment when the first of the prophecies about the last days became reality. And do you know what that means for us? That every generation following Christ must be always ready, always awaiting the return of the Lord. Now let's dive a bit into the pages of the Bible. This book is not just a collection of stories and teachings. It's a true treasure trove of predictions. Imagine 735 prophecies are scattered throughout its pages, and every 4 chapters, at least one speaks of the future. From Genesis to Revelation, it's a continuous account of predictions, although of course some books delve deeper into this sea of prophecies than others. And here's something fascinating. Out of the 735 prophecies, 596 have already come true, materialized literally, just as the scriptures predicted. That gives us an impressive accuracy rate of 81%. And these prophecies weren't just words thrown into the wind. Some were made centuries before they materialized. Given this, it doesn't take a giant leap of faith to believe that the remaining 19% will also be fulfilled. The accuracy so far has been unquestionable. Speaking of accuracy, the Bible has proven to be dead on, 100% accurate, in all predictions that should have occurred up to the present time. And of the remaining ones, the majority relate to the return of Jesus and the events that will follow. But how many of these predictions are still waiting for their moment of truth before Jesus' return? About 20. And here we are, watchful, observing these signs unfold, one by one, before we witness the great return of the Lord. Consider this. Jesus advised us to always be alert and in prayer. But what exactly should we watch for? It's not as if we can spend our days staring up at the sky, waiting for some spectacular sign. No, that wasn't what he had in mind. He was teaching us to keep our eyes open to the events of the world, to pay attention to the signs he left us. These signs are the crucial clues that guide us. Now picture the scene. We're in chapter 24 of the book of Matthew. The disciples, curious and eager to understand, ask Jesus, "What will be the signs of your return? How will we know it's near?" And Jesus, with the wisdom and clarity only he possesses, gives a direct and revealing answer. It's a moment of gratitude, as he didn't leave that question unanswered. If we go to the book of Revelation, we find an even more detailed and complex description. But returning to Matthew, Jesus provides a summary of the signs that will indicate his imminent return. The disciples, seeking a moment of tranquility and understanding, approach him on the Mount of Olives. In Matthew 24:3-36, there's an intimate and revealing dialogue. The disciples ask in private, "Tell us, when will these things happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of times?" And Jesus, always attentive to the need of his followers to understand the truth, warns, "Be careful, let no one deceive you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ. Let's dive deeper into this fascinating narrative. Jesus continued, warning about the difficult times to come. He predicted that many would be deceived by false messiahs, that rumors of wars would echo in everyone's ears, but he advised, do not give in to panic. These occurrences, as alarming as they are just the prelude to what is to come, the beginning of the birth pains of a new era. The journey won't be easy. Jesus warned that his followers would face severe persecution, even death, and would be hated all over the world because of their faith. It will be a time of trials and betrayals, where the love of many will grow cold due to the increase of sin. But there's a promise of hope. Those who stand firm to the end will find salvation. Jesus also spoke of the spread of the good news of the kingdom throughout the world, a clear sign before the end of times. He mentioned Daniel's prophecy about the sacrilegious object, a terrifying vision that would manifest in the holy place. He advised prudence and swiftness in times of great danger, emphasizing the severity of the situation for pregnant women and mothers with young children. And then, he offered a serious warning. False messiahs and prophets would arise, performing wonders to deceive, if possible, even the most faithful. But Jesus advised us not to be fooled by these illusions. He compared his second coming to the speed and clarity of lightning, something impossible to ignore or to be mistaken about. Finally, he described the celestial signs that would precede his return. The sun will darken, the moon will lose its brightness, stars will fall from the sky, and there will be a great upheaval in the heavens. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all the nations of the earth will mourn. He will come with power and great glory, sending his angels with the sound of a mighty trumpet to gather God's chosen from all corners of the world. Consider the lesson of the fig tree, a simple yet profoundly meaningful teaching Jesus shared. When we see its branches become tender and its leaves sprout, we instinctively know that summer is on its way. Similarly, he said, when we observe certain events unfolding around us, we can discern that his return is imminent, knocking at the door. Jesus assured that the present generation would witness these events. He emphasized the permanence of his words, despite the transitoriness of the physical world. However, he also highlighted a mystery. The exact day and hour are unknown to all but the Father. Let's delve into the 4 signs he revealed to us. The first sign is the occurrence of global disasters, wars, famines, and earthquakes. These events, while they have occurred throughout history, are becoming more frequent and intense. Jesus warned us about the spread of false Christs and messiahs, especially in times of turmoil. These impostors might take advantage of the chaos to promote themselves as saviors. This is a reminder for us to stay alert and avoid being deceived by these false promises of salvation. Jesus guides us to view these disasters not as signs of an imminent end, but as birth pains, signaling the arrival of something new. This perspective shifts our attitude. Instead of despair, we should feel hope. While the world may be alarmed by these catastrophes, we, on the other hand, should maintain a hopeful outlook, awaiting the birth of a new world. It's important to empathize with those who suffer due to these disasters, offering help and support. However, in our hearts, we should not be carried away by alarm. We are attentive to a greater purpose, a transcendent event that these signs foretell. In summary, Jesus' advice is not to succumb to panic or disturbance, but even to find reasons for joy, recognizing these events as precursors to something new and grand. The second sign of his coming, according to him, is not found in the world's disasters, but within the church, an aspect that deserves our attention and reflection. Now let's focus on the second sign of Christ's coming, which surprisingly is centered in the church, not the world. Just as the first sign was composed of global disasters, wars, earthquakes, and famines, The second sign also divides into three distinct parts, all related to changes within the church. The first aspect of this sign is persecution. Jesus warned that the church would be hated in all nations. This is a challenging scenario where we will face hostility and rejection because of our faith. The second aspect is even more provocative. A significant reduction in the size of the church. Under the constant pressure of persecution, many nominal Christians, perhaps even some true believers, will abandon their faith. This cooling of love and dedication is an alarming and disheartening sign. But there's an intriguing twist in the third part of this sign. Against all expectations, the gospel will be preached to all ethnic groups. In this scenario, a smaller but more purified church will emerge with a significant impact worldwide. This is a clear indication that even in times of adversity, Christ's message will reach every corner of the earth. However, false prophets represent a constant challenge in this process. They offer deceptive teachings, promoting a false sense of peace and comfort when, in reality, they should be challenging and preparing the church for the difficult times ahead. Their message is seductive, as it speaks of ease and security, but it doesn't reflect the reality of the challenges we face. Jesus' guidance in this challenging scenario is firm and clear. Perseverance is the key. Those who stand firm to the end will be saved. This is Jesus' counsel to all Christians, especially when the church as a whole faces scorn and rejection by the world. But why does this happen? The answer lies in the parable of the wheat and the tares. As both approach maturity, the tension between them grows. Thus, it's natural for Christians to face increasing pressure as the end draws near. We Christians are seen as social misfits by the world, and hence we face hatred. As citizens of the heavenly kingdoms, our uniqueness sets us apart and often generates animosity. Jesus, due to his marked difference, attracted hatred against himself. As he said in John 15:19, "We are hated by the world because we do not belong to it. We have been chosen and set apart from it by Christ." Being the target of scorn is never easy, and this leads us to the third sign of the end times, the anguish of Jerusalem. This distress will be geographically limited but of great significance. Here, Jesus refers to the prophecies of Daniel, especially to the figure known as the abomination of desolation. This is a central character in Daniel's prophecies, a tyrant who will establish himself in Jerusalem, God's city, proclaiming himself above all, refusing to submit to any will but his own. His presence will have global implications, but will be focused in the holy city. Finally, Jesus reveals the fourth sign of his coming, which will occur immediately after this event in Jerusalem. This sign will be so clear and distinct that it will eliminate any possibility of deception by false prophets or messiahs. We will be ready and alert, in no danger of being deceived, for we will know exactly what to look for.